How did you meet?
I was 17. I just came to study in Minsk. This was my first time going to a club. This is where we met. We had a dance. I wasn't really interested in Ivan and didn't give him my phone number then.
There was a chance that she would simply disappear like Cinderella and I would have to go and find her. I had her name, the name of her university, and her approximate age. In fact, I didn't know how old she was. Actually, they should let people into clubs from the age of 21. I didn't succeed in searching at first, but then I expanded the search and I found her.
A year later, we started dating. A friend of ours introduced us to each other. We met in China. I went on vacation with a friend and met my husband there.
Irina came to my place of work to get a side job. She brought different diplomas, resumes, and recommendations. However, 5 minutes later, I realized that I didn't need any of those documents. About 3-4 hours later, I realized that I probably wouldn't hire her, and that I really liked her. 3 hours after the interview, I called her and I asked her out on a date.
I was very surprised. He suddenly called me and asked me out to dinner. If an employer invites you to dinner, it probably has nothing to do with work.
We met on the 17th of August, and on the 29th of August, I asked her to marry me.
Yeah, and we got married in 2 months. When we met, he asked me to guess his age. I said 39. He didn't say yes or no, and that is why I thought he was 39. Well, he was 45. He said, "I'm so sorry, please forgive me." And I was like, "For what? Maybe he has a family, girlfriend, what's wrong?" He showed me his passport, and there was a date of birth. It didn't really matter to me and was so funny. Who cares about age?
Well, as far as I remember, her age was written in her social media profile. It was either she would reject me or not. I decided to take a chance and see what would happen. We had such a lovely time in the club that I just wanted to keep talking to her.
To be honest, I didn't suspect that Ivan was as old as he was then. I thought he was younger. Even at that moment was a well-known person, and his age was written on one of the websites. So I was very surprised when I saw it. But it didn't stop me. I was young and wanted adventures, so I didn't mind to go on a couple of dates with him. It wasn't an obstacle for us.
We did not think of age on our dates. Our feelings were the only thing that mattered. I simply knew that she was the person I needed. Why is your relationship better than relationships with peers?
Well, it seems to be a general tendency for men. They grow up a little later than women and get smart a little later too. They also want to have a serious relationship later than women. Understanding comes to men later. My peers are empty-headed. They only think about parties and don't think about the future, while I want stability and confidence. I used to date peers, but I feel like I'm a leader by nature. I have a managerial position at work, but at home I didn't want to be a leader. I wanted to be behind someone's back. The first day that I met Victor, I had a certain problem, and he helped me. And immediately solved it, and that was it. It worked on me. When there is an age difference, you appreciate every moment, every second you spend together with your partner, because time passes very quickly. When you are in a relationship with a peer, you simply don't feel this fast passage of time.
Actually, I've never had a relationship with a peer. Almost all my girlfriends were younger than me. It can probably be explained psychologically. I had relationship problems when I was her age, and I think that's why that time of youth still attracts me. You know, everything young and blossoming is always attractive.
You just fell in love. It's so cliché. You just fell in love.
Youth is wonderful. How did your parents react to your choice? When Irina introduced me to her parents, my mother-in-law was only 6 years older than me, and yes, she was considerate about it, but...
She was considerate about it, but from the look in her eyes, it was clear that she had her doubts.
Yes, and her father is such a sentimental man, he even cried.
My parents were not very happy about my choice, I suspect. But I'm not the person who asks her parents for permission. I just said that he's my boyfriend and they will have to accept this fact, well, although they were probably not happy about it. My mother reacted positively because the most important thing for her is my happiness. If I like being with this man, then she's fine with it.
My son was in the army at the time. I took Ira to meet him, and he treated her normally. But my daughter didn't react so well. She was 16 years old, and she was very jealous because she's a father's daughter. However, over time, all conflicts vanished, and everything was fine. My parents were just glad that I finally decided to settle down. Besides, there's a chance for the continuation of the family,
Your parents were very
grandchildren,
happy.
so they're happy.
Yes, we have very good relations with our parents. My mother-in-law is just wonderful.
Since that time, they obviously changed their opinion.
Yes, because we already have 3 children. Everyone understood that this is for the long haul, that this is more than just an affair. This is a marriage, a family.
Are there any things that you look at differently because of your age?
Even lived in the Soviet times for a little while, right?
That was so long ago.
But there are some references to that period, which he understands better than me. Because I was born after the Soviet times. Even loves to tell jokes about Vovочка, and it's such a delight.
Yes, those Soviet jokes that I learned at that time still work wonderfully and make Alexandra laugh.
Sometimes she has more energy than me, so she won't go outside every day with my children, our children. But sometimes I'm tired. I speak, stay home today, and maybe tomorrow go outside. But she pushes, no, today go outside. So I lose and I go outside together. Yes, but I think it's more good for baby. Whatever I am so tired, but I use my time for her and for baby. Yeah.
Victor loves his house very much. He says that we have everything we need at home. We can even celebrate the holidays here, while I sometimes want to go somewhere new.
We solve this problem very fast. I grumble that I don't want to go, but in the end I usually agree.
But we really have no problem with this. We even celebrated Yulia's birthday at a trampoline center, although at first he wanted to stay at home, and then he jumped on a trampoline too.
You think I can't jump on a trampoline?
You can.
Is sex different?
Well, when I'm with Victor, it is all exciting and interesting, unlike my previous experience in this area of life. Now I can do whatever I want, and I think it is really great.
There is this really interesting expression that goes like this. Experience, just like sexual impotence, comes with age, although I'm not that old yet.
If you love someone, age doesn't really matter, because you give yourself completely to this person. I think experience is unimportant when it comes to intimacy. Love is the most important thing of all.
Regardless of age, each person has his own sexual preferences. We all have different tastes. Some people like one thing, others prefer something different. So I can't compare one to another. There was a so-called honeymoon phase in our relationship when I got to know this side of my partner. I liked what I found, it went on, and now we're here. Are you afraid that your partner will get old and die earlier?
We've never thought about it. We just met.
Old age? What are you talking about? We are beautiful, young, in the prime of our life. Our little children are our energy source. To be honest, we don't think about aging at all.
We will stand by each other in arthritis too. We hope that medicine will evolve and there won't be as many problems with health and aging.
I work with new technologies. I believe in them. I believe in medical science. And if we don't become immortal in the next 20 years, then at least some other problems will hopefully be solved.
I'm afraid that Ivan will die earlier when we have common children, and if we do have them. I'm afraid they won't have time to grow up, become independent. If Ivan is not by my side, it will be more difficult to raise them alone. I'm not afraid that my husband will get old or that our age difference will become visible. I want to spend my whole life with this person and give him everything I have. We do not know what the future will bring. Maybe he will go first, maybe me, but I hope we will die together someday. How will I live without you?
How do you picture yourself in 15 to 20 years? Well, if I don't die. According to my philosophy, life is a river. We don't know what's coming around the bend. For me, the future is full of possibilities, and we should try to build relationships now and achieve our goals. Alexandra has her goals, and I have mine.
When we are old, I think we will be in full bloom of our respect to each other. There will be no quarrels or scandals, our relationship will be stronger, and we will understand each other much better, because mutual respect grows with time.
Recall a situation about your age difference. A couple of days after our daughter Sophia was born, a pediatrician came to check on her. She was examining the baby when I entered the room, and then she turned around, looked at me and said, "Oh look, here comes the grandfather." And I said, "Excuse me, but I'm not the grandfather, I'm the dad." And I wasn't embarrassed, but she was pretty confused.
Once he invited me and my friends to a fish restaurant, which served a fish soup. My friends were eating the soup when suddenly they stopped and looked at us in shock. They watched us for some time and then asked, "What is your husband doing?" I looked at my husband. He took a fish out with chopsticks and checked if there were any bones in it. If there were no bones, he gave it to me and I ate it. This is normal for me. He just cares and doesn't want me to choke on a fish bone. He's always gentle and sweet with me, but my friends were really shocked when they saw it.
What have you learned from each other?
Even taught me to think, I suppose.
That's a big statement.
I mean that he taught me to look at the situation from different angles, stand above it, and analyze it.
I call this systemic thinking.
Right, systemic thinking.
She's still learning.
Before I met her, I liked wine and meet friends. Don't drink too much, don't meet friends too much, don't lose time. Stay with your family. So first time it was not comfortable. I want my friend, I want more wine, but I decided, obviously, it's no problem. I lose wine and a little friend, but I get my family. So I use my time more with my family. It's now I'm happy.
He showed me how to talk to children. He's very gentle and caring person, and he can speak the children's language. I'm not as good at this as he is. He taught me about the value of the time. He taught me to cherish family and relationships. He simply taught me to love.
Alexandra's energy when she is pursuing her dreams and goals partially passes on to me. This always gives me energy for my own projects and helps me achieve different goals. One time we had a quarrel with Ira and couldn't come to an agreement. She began to cry and left the room. She came back in 15 minutes and said, "I'm sorry for what I said, maybe I was wrong." And it moved me so much, and then I realized what a smart woman she was and that I needed to start listening to her.
If you think you are a smart person, be the first to make up. 1, 2, 3.
Subscribe to this channel.
Na kanale.